All right.
We're live on StreamYard.
We're live on StreamYard now. We need to make sure that we are going live on the Facebook. The Facebook.
Is it cold? You look cold today.
Yeah, it is kind of cold. But I think it's mainly because I'm in the basement, like it's
My
winter
car
here.
my car had like a layer of frost on it this morning. That's like today. That was like one of the first
Okay.
times it's had that. So it's winter's right. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first off, woo, woo,
Woo,
woo,
woo,
woo.
woo. We
Um,
should have like what's bigger than a police siren? A fire engine siren? I don't know. Like
you know that siren they play when to let everybody know about the purge that it's starting. Something like that. And people need to know to get inside their houses.
like
Um,
once a month out here on the coast, we have a tsunami warning system that's
ooh,
probably more intense. It's just like, wow! I'll have
that
to record it and send it to you. It's pretty intense.
that
Happy Black
sounds
Friday!
like happy Black Friday to you,
Yeah,
good sir, and happy Thanksgiving. How was it with the family?
I've been saving this off camera. I wanted to share this live. Look at this. I have a piece of pumpkin pie here.
Oh,
It's this perfect little piece of pumpkin pie. I am going to eat it on camera, guys. Don't worry. I want you guys
yeah,
maximum jealousy. Look at this.
man, that looks.
It's perfect. I don't even
Where's
want
it
to eat
from?
it.
Where's
No,
it
it's
from?
homemade. It's homemade. Where's it from?
Who
I
made
didn't
it?
make it. I didn't make
I was gonna say, I was like,
I
do you
didn't
have,
make
do
it.
you have this
My
talent
wife.
that I'm not aware
No,
of? Like,
not at all. There's one thing I struggle. I can grill, I can smoke meat. There's some other small items I'm capable of cooking, but no, this is my wife, and my son actually helps quite a bit too with her in the kitchen.
nice.
But yeah, I'm excited for this right now. But
You
yeah,
know,
Thanksgiving was awesome. How was your Thanksgiving?
my Thanksgiving was good.
Woo!
Had it with the family. We had store-bought pumpkin pie and pecan pie and everything else. My brother woke up at 5 a.m. to cook the turkey, and he made like homemade mac and cheese and stuffing and everything. It was awesome. Like he
So your
crushed it.
brother's a cook.
My brother's a awesome cook. He's a phenomenal cook.
I think you've told
Me,
me that before.
my talents stop where it comes to swiping the credit card. Like for someone that is a amazing cook.
Well, I'm glad you got some homemade food though.
Yeah, yeah. You know, once or twice a year is not too bad. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's not truth, people. Just um, man, do we have a topic for you guys today? I'm I'm excited to talk about it a little
Me
bit. I
too.
mean, it is definitely something that's riling people up. It's in the nature, right, of what this year has been, 2024, right? It has basically been, you know, CMS staying up late at night like a slumber party, like teenage girls in a slumber party making notes like, how can we screw with Jason tomorrow at school?
Their burn book.
Yeah, the burn book. Yeah.
Burn book.
CMS has a burn book and we're all in it.
Medicare agents were naughty this year. Let's give them coal in their stocking.
um, so yeah, this proposal drops, guys, in the last couple of days for a 2026 plan year final rule, basically, right? So there's a lot we need to discuss with this. A lot that and the demand is there. By the way, I put a post up seeing how many of you guys would like to see us do a stream to talk about this, and I was blown away by how many of you are interested in this topic. And why wouldn't you, right? This is your future. This is your future, damn it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's definitely something I want to get into. We want to go deep into the weeds with this. Before we do it, though, we got to talk about Black Friday, right? Gotta talk about Black Friday a little bit.
Everyone's spending those monies today. Guys, we announced on Monday this week. We wanted to announce a few days early because we know some of you this week. You might be busy traveling, you're with family, you might be taking
Mhm.
some time off from AAP, totally understandable. So we told you guys on Monday, but it ends on this following Monday, which is Cyber Monday, December 2nd.
Yep.
The seven-figure university platform, which is normally for lifetime access, $4,997, so $5,000. We have it 80% off right now until end of day Monday. So that saves you that puts 4,000 back into your pocket. That's like your whole Christmas budget potentially. Who knows? I don't know how much little Timmy's getting. Maybe little Timmy's getting more than that. That's totally your decision. But $4,000 back into your pocket if you purchase Seven Figure University lifetime access between now and end of day Monday.
Yep.
We will make sure that link is in the comments. Looks like Christian just dropped it. I have you guys pulled up. Feel free to ask any questions, anything that you guys, if you're concerned about as we get into more of today's topic, feel free to drop a comment or concern or question in the comments. We'll try to get back to you. But huge opportunity as we go into next year, 2025, for you guys to get educated on stuff that maybe you know a little bit about, maybe you know nothing about: marketing, carriers, systems, staffing, all sorts of things that both Christian and I have contributed to the university. It's over 250 videos, hundreds of hours of content. All it takes is 2 sales to make up for lifetime access plus weekly calls. So this isn't just a one-time thing. You're actually getting weekly updated calls, which will start back up going into 2025. Christian, what did I miss?
I mean, you nailed it. But the additional things I would mention, guys, is the videos and the content itself, when updating is needed inside of the course, get updated every single year. So the content is fresh, the content is up to date. If you do see any videos floating around in there where I have hair still, it's because we deem that still to be current training, right? And it doesn't need updating. But I think it's I love the terminology that you used for it, Glenn. You said it's a business in a box. And I couldn't agree more with that, right? It's a business in a box. Man, that looks good. And it's one of those things where, and there's been posts all over the group about it, links all over the group. I also dropped the link in the Facebook stream. If you're watching on any other platform, if you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on LinkedIn, and you want the link, let us know. We'll also make sure we drop them on those other streams as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a good investment into your future, into your business. And I promise you that if what we're going to talk about with the final rule ends up coming to fruition, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. You're going to need it.
That was ominous. That was an ominous sentence right there, you guys.
You're going to need the updated information, which, of course, all the updated information on how to navigate around it, depending on what we actually get, what we actually see in terms of a final rule. If we see one at all, we'll jump into all the details of this in just a second here, but that will all be updated inside of the course, inside of the university as we go, right? Because remember, this is a constantly updating and growing platform. And come Tuesday, it'll be going back up to its normal price of $5,000. So,
hey, quick shout out to Sandra in the comments. Get the university, y'all. It just makes sense. Thank you, Sandra. I think that's great advice. Yeah, that is great advice. X still feels wrong. Yes, I know. I think it's hilarious. That's one of the funniest things to me is that everyone still calls it Twitter. Yeah. That he tried to rebrand. It's like, oh, I'm on Twitter. It's like,
like, no, you're not.
Are you tweeting on X? It's like, no, you can't tweet on X. That's not possible. But
well, I just said it the other day. We were having a conversation. I was like, what do I call it? I was like, I'm like, I created an account. By the way, plug, guys, go follow my account. Just search Christian Brindle, you'll find it. But I've already got 40 something followers. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm tweeting, whatever you want to say. I don't know what to call it anymore.
Elon's gonna deactivate your account for calling it Twitter.
Okay, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this.
Let's do it.
So
first, really fast, I do want to say this. Last year, there's a trend with the government dropping bad news. I don't know if you noticed this, but last year, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I swear it was the same day. the FTC got together and said, hey, we're going to vote on the rule change in December. And I'm pretty sure they dropped that little nugget the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And now CMS took a page straight out of that same playbook, and it seems like they did the same thing right before Thanksgiving. I mean, what could be better timing to drop bad news? There's probably not a better day all year to drop bad news and to try to get it to slide under the rug. Nobody sees it. Nobody reads it. Am I right? Like, that's got to be the best day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, and anybody that's watching is welcome to, if you do know the answer to what I'm about to say, drop it in the comments, because I'm just not remembering. But last year, I know in November, I don't remember the exact date, they dropped the proposal for the final rule that we ended up getting earlier this year in 2024, right? So like, they drop the trend is they'll drop a proposal. The proposal is bonkers and batshit crazy, like this one is, what we're about to jump into, like last year's was, right? And then usually what ends up happening is there is commentary they ask for from the agents. I don't believe they look at one piece of commentary from the agents. I know a lot of you guys like to believe that they do, and like, your comments make a difference. I don't think they look at even one of them. You know what I mean? I think they just do it to make it seem like they're at your voice is heard, but your voice is not heard. The voices that are heard is lawsuits, lobbyists, advocacy groups like Hoffa. Shout out to Hoffa, our friends over at Hoffa. Love what they're doing right now. Love what Renell's doing. That's the voices, I believe, in my opinion, that are heard. Every time I see like people doing petitions for this kind of stuff, they're like, sign the petition. If we get enough signatures for the petition. Petitions never worked. We're going 4 years into CMS.
You're crushing some people's just souls, right?
They don't work.
There's some petition signing agents that are going to hear this. And
I'm sorry. Every time I see them, I just roll my eyes.
Hey, I've signed several petitions. I'm on the team, you guys. I want the change, but I also don't disagree with what Christian's saying is a petition, or are these comments really going to move the needle? Probably not. Most likely not.
Here's my stance on that before we jump into the actual details of the proposal, right? If there's a petition, sign it. If they're asked for comments, drop them, because I may be wrong. I'm not inside of that room with them, when they're making these decisions, although maybe I should be.
Should we spy on CMS? Drop a comment. Let us know.
Drop a comment. But I'm not saying don't do it, but don't hold out hope that it's going to do anything, right? What made the biggest impact of this year's final rule? CMS getting sued.
That's what I was going to say. I think putting pressure on your upline, and because again, the biggest uplines in the game, the biggest brokerages, AmeriLife, Integrity, there might be a couple others that have voices that, if again, it's kind of like, I always say this, follow the money, right? In politics, a lot of times people think it's like what's morally right or what's morally wrong, or what follows the political line, like what's Republican, what's Democrat. To follow the money. The money is where the truth is. Like, if you want to know why something's being done. So when it comes to like putting pressure on CMS and these rule changes, the insurance carriers, I think, have a ton of leverage. The giant brokerages, the NMOs, they have a ton of leverage because they have so much business that's going through them. And again, just like Christian said, the lawsuit that happened, which we're still waiting to see who knows, right? Who knows when that'll
still
get
pending.
Filed.
Yeah.
That's going to be, wait for that emergency podcast. Once that lawsuit gets wrapped up, and who knows how long maybe that gets kicked down the road another 12 months. I mean, honestly, anything I think is possible.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's that. I think there is the impending reality of new CMS leadership being installed in just a couple of months here, right? I mean, what does that mean for all of this? There's just a lot we got to dig into. Let's first talk about, we mentioned
Hang
it a
on, hang
little
on.
bit, but
Before we get in, before there's a comment here I want to mention
okay.
from Lisa. Did you read the lawsuit? Our uplines buried the agents in favor of themselves. How would you respond to that?
I did read it. Don't think I really got the same impression
The
that
only
you
thing I
did.
can this is the only thing I can think from that comment, which again, Lisa, I appreciate your comment, even if
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
agree with it. Guys, I love the engagement, the commentary. If this is about the one time payment, right? Because I think a lot of agents got hooked on this idea that they're going to get that one time payment
Yeah.
and that
Yes.
their pay's going up, and because that got blocked, their FMO, or that was a bad thing. Again, I think that's kind of like your tunnel vision on one thing. That the bigger picture here is if your FMO gets kneecapped and can't help you anymore because there's limitations on support, limitations on marketing dollars, limitations on software they can provide to you, if that gets kneecapped, that's probably 10 times or 100 times more valuable than that one-time $50 payment per application.
Or 100 in some
Or
instances, right?
100,
Like
yeah. If it's a new client, yeah.
it's like if you look at, I mean, people always say, "Be like my FMO doesn't do anything for me." Like if you think about it, though, right? If you think about it, do you use Sunfire or
Yes.
Medicare? You use Medicare Center, right? Let's say anyone with Integrity Medicare Center, it's white labeled different names with every group, but like, do you use Sunfire to do your apps? Yes, you do. Oh, that being paid for by someone. Do you use Connecture? Oh, you do. Oh, that's being paid for by someone. Do you use CSG to run quotes and do MedSup apps and final expense quoting, dental vision hearing quoting, and things like that? Oh, you do. That's being paid for by someone. Do you use any kind of go high level white label from your upline? We provide it to our
Super
agents.
valid.
That's being paid for by someone, huh?
Hang on, at least a response. So she said, no, it's not the one-time payment. I pulled all the documents from the court's website. Well, I'd love to know, Lisa. Let us know if we're missing something here, because again,
Yeah.
we're kind of on all sides of it. Chris and I are agents. We're licensed agents. We own an agency. We're an upline. We're an FMO. So we're kind of on all sides of it. And from what we've seen, the lawsuit was a great thing because, again, as an FMO, we want to be able to provide support to our agents without red tape. Because if the red tape prevents us because they're trying to put caps or they're trying to limit or say, no, you can't do that, I want to provide as much support to our downline agents as we possibly can. So the fact that a government regulation is going to try to step in and say, hey, Glenn, you can't do that. Don't support your agents. That's insane to me personally. But I'd love to know if I'm completely misreading or misinterpreting. I did not read the lawsuit line by line myself, but
I didn't read it line by line, but I went
did.
through it.
Yeah, I did go through it. And I also talked to many people in the know and got their interpretations as well. So Lisa says the lawsuit stated throughout its filing, the FMOs agreed with the limitations placed on agents.
I didn't see that in one spot, but you're welcome to send me like an actual line.
Give me a screenshot. Yeah, give me a screenshot. Yeah. Give me a link. Give me something. But again,
this stream is not about the lawsuit. I don't want it to get derailed, right?
Yeah, we did get a little derailed here.
We'll
circle back. We'll circle back on that.
Let's see. I am an FMO and own a brokerage. I love my IMOs above me. So if you have an IMO above you, you're not an FMO by definition. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Okay. Anyway, let's kind of circle back, right? So lawsuits cause the current final rule, which, regardless of your thoughts on the lawsuit, I don't know anyone that, other than a few uninformed agents that thought they were getting a pay raise, that thought the final rule was a good thing for the industry. I don't know anybody that would be in the know, that's got a person of influence in this industry that thought the final rule was a good thing for the industry. For one, it was poorly timed when it was put out. It was vague. It took them months upon months upon months to provide clarity and clarification. And even with that clarity and clarification, and carriers didn't quite know how to interpret it, right? So it was 100% going to just cause mayhem and havoc. And that was really one of the big arguments that the lawsuit really portrayed, was that it was going to prevent AEP from being able to happen in a sustainable manner, due to the fact that just nobody really quite knew what it was actually saying verbatim, right? You knew kind of bits and pieces and things like that, but like the specifics, like it mentioned, for example, multiple instances of there's a cap of what an FMO can provide in terms of technology, what we were mentioning a second ago, and in terms of, this and that, but there's not specific numbers put out there. So what does that mean? You know what I mean? There's a cap, but no one knows what it is, huh?
A lot of open interpretation.
Yeah. And so essentially, I don't think anybody thought it was a good thing. So circle back to this proposal that comes out in the last week or less. Okay. So last week or less, this proposal comes out. Did you have a chance to look at it at all?
I only saw like the headlines. Like I just kind of skimmed through. I saw the first post about it, read through it. It caught me off guard because I honestly, there's so much about agents posting in regards to, CMS rules. We've got stuff about the election. I kind of just skimmed it and thought, oh, this is not something that's actually going. And maybe there's other agents like me out there that thought the same thing. Like this agent's just venting about a previous CMS rule. So that was I haven't had time to actually dive into the most cards. So I'm excited to hear, as just like anyone that might be watching this live or you're watching the replay, I'm just as excited as you guys to hear from Christian kind of the meat and potatoes of what this new proposal is trying to do.
Yeah. So let's start off with this. The proposal is 713 pages.
Oh my God. That's off to the do they get paid per word or per page over there at CMS?
The attorneys do.
That's incredible.
The attorneys do. And like most communications we've gotten from CMS, a lot of it is gobbledygook, right? There's a lot of gobbledygook in there. But what I was able to pull out of it, I made a list here, was a couple of key things that they're proposing. The first one is agents must discuss and disclose low-income supports like the Part D low-income subsidy, extra help during client conversations, right? So you have to disclose Medicaid benefits, extra help, LIS. Not a huge deal, right? I think most agents probably do anyway if they get the impression that somebody qualifies for it, but maybe you can't tell, right? And you don't bring it up or something like that. I think that's their purpose there. First thing, not a big deal. The next thing, they're requiring in the proposal is to require agents to explain Medigap guaranteed issue rights, and essentially talking about Medigap instead of just mentioning Medicare Advantage. So there's a lot of agents out there.
Yeah, I saw that. That was interesting for sure. To be talk about MedSup, talk about original Medicare.
A lot of what CMS has done over the years and the government has done over the years has kind of been moving in a direction to try to murder MedSup.
I was going to say, they basically nuked MedSup from orbit.
Right.
Over and over. Just a barrage of bombs on MedSup. It's like just taking out MedSup left and right over the past 10 years. It's like
But then, it's like Darth Vader choking someone in like a room behind, no one can see, and then in public he's like worried about the guy's stiff neck. That's basically what.
Did anyone check on MedSup? Something's not right over there. I don't know what happened to MedSup.
Again, right? It's not. It's nothing. That part of it, fine. MedSup.
Right.
We certainly talk about MedSup openly, right? I love
MedSup.
Yeah,
bring it on, CMS. I love meds up. Next.
This next part to me was the part that I pulled out of it that I thought was the most radical. They want to expand the definition of marketing. So in the past, right? Let me just kind of rewind before I talk about this. In the past, there has been marketing and there's been communication when it comes to how you actually broadcast your services to the world, right? Whether it be paid marketing, whether it be content online, whatever the case might be. And marketing by definition has always been where specific carriers and specific plans or specific plan benefits are being mentioned, right? So for example, you put a Facebook ad up there. That Facebook ad says, call me today for information on a free dental vision hearing benefits. That's marketing on your Medicare plan. Whereas, another Facebook ad might say, Medicare is confusing. Have a specialist help you. I'm local in your area, blah, blah, blah. Don't mention Advantage. They don't mention any benefits, anything like that. That could be looked at as communication, right? So that's been the definition as long as I can remember. They want to expand the definition of marketing to where instead of it going off of the content, it goes off of the intent. So for example, if you're putting something out there, like I just mentioned, that states, I'm your local Medicare specialist. I want to help you. I'll help you navigate the maze, blah, blah, blah. But you're not mentioning anything specific. The intent of it is to solicit new clients. So it falls then into the definition of marketing instead of communication, meaning that you would have to go through either a carrier or CMS to get approval and get an SMID code or number to be able to actually do that. And that goes not just for paid marketing, but that means videos on YouTube, content marketing, stuff on your website, all of it. That is maniacally crazy.
Yeah. So to take this a little further, you guys, as someone who lives in this world that he just described, where, what I would say is that over the past several years, there has kind of been a system in place for what Christian just discussed, where it was you could navigate it. You could navigate it in the sense of dealing with the carriers, dealing with CMS, what's communications, what's marketing. Oh, this is marketing. Well, let's change it to this. Would this be communications? Like that whole thing was very you could navigate that. It was navigatable. If that's a word, I don't know. I'm saying it. Navigatable. Okay. Sue me, sue CMS, sue everybody. Okay. The idea that every single piece of essentially anything Medicare related that could potentially be PDP or MA, which is now, as we know, that's like 80% of everything, right? So essentially all marketing, all communications, everything would have to go through CMS, which I can tell you again, as a marketer, CMS approving it is really just step one. Once CMS approves it, then you have to get the carriers to approve it. And then here's where it gets really fun. Every carrier has a different interpretation, like we talked about earlier in the stream. Not all carriers see the rules the same way. So now you're going through each individual carrier trying to get them to approve your marketing pieces. And some of them will be like, yeah, this is great. You're good. We're opting into your SMID code. And then other carriers will be like, oh, no, you need to change this. Then there's a chance that if you have to change things based on the other carrier, you might have to go back to the carrier that already opted in because you changed it. You're not using what they already signed off on. The sort of rat race, the hamster wheel. Hamsters just got brought up. Sorry, life agents. I didn't mean to bring you into this. But, done.
Vince Carter into the rim. Elbow into the rim.
Poster! Can't wait for the life agents to reach out and try to roast me after this. But again, the hamster wheel of getting marketing pieces approved through CMS, through 5 major carriers, it is a very lengthy process.
Yes.
And they're not staffed for it. And if this rule were to go into effect, I'm telling you right now, the backlog would be insane. You'd have to submit everything that you need approved for AEP probably by the end of May, probably by the end of April. You'd have to, and then you'd have to like just pray to the gods that you got through CMS, through all the major carriers that you're representing, and that you can actually sell insurance. You can actually do your job. So this part was crazy to me. Christian did give me a little heads up on this prior to going live, which is why my jaw is not on the floor right now. Otherwise, that's what my reaction would have been if it was truly a raw reaction to that. That's pure insanity.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things in this, right? Obviously, it's a 713-page document, but those were the main things that I took out of it that impact us as agents. If anybody else got anything out of it that maybe I didn't mention, feel free to drop it into the chat there. But I think the main thing is, will some people be able to figure out ways how to maneuver around this? Sure, the bigger agencies will be able to figure out. But for most of you guys, it's not gonna be peaches and cream, And even if there is a way to navigate around it, it's freaking pain in the ass. It's a nightmare.
It's gonna make your life a lot harder.
Yes, I mean,
for sure.
And now let's talk about the 10,000. The $10 million question, right? That everybody is probably asking themselves. The current CMS leadership that's unveiling this, that's putting this proposal out there, unless they rush and pass a final rule before, let's say February,
it's possible.
They're going to be in the unemployment line come February. Our current CMS commissioner. I've done so many videos about her. I don't want to go too much into detail about her, but she's fired come quarter one.
See ya.
We have Dr. Oz coming, right? Dr. Oz is our new.
I'm never gonna get used to that. You know what I really want to do? I want to get a picture of Dr. Oz right there. Guys, I'm going to get a nice framed picture. I want to look at him every day. I'm going to put him right here. We're going to have that. That's coming.
Get a life-size cardboard cutout.
That would be even just fill this whole wall. It's just Dr. Oz. Really good. Hey, Dr. Oz.
So a lot of things I would expect to change. Now, will it change day one? Probably not. But will it change over a 6 to 12 month time frame in terms of the direction they're going? I believe that it will. Do we know exactly, the direction Dr. Oz will go and his team will go? I don't. We don't. Nobody knows. If anybody claims that they know, they're it's tomfoolery in my opinion. But what we do know is Dr. Oz is pro-business. He said that when he was running for his previous, campaign for senator in Pennsylvania. He's pro-business, pro-entrepreneurship. That works in our favor. He's conservative. Sorry, guys, that works in our favor. Anti-regulation usually. And he's very pro-Medicare Advantage, right? That works in our favor. So we'll have to see, right? There's a very good possibility that they put out this proposal and this final rule never sees the light of day. It's almost the feeling like they're trying to crowbar one last fuck you to us before they get removed.
Isn't this called the lame duck period? Isn't that the term they use when a sitting president's on its way out and they're still technically in power, but they already know their days are limited left. So yeah, I mean, we've got a lame duck CMS commissioner, who knows they're going to be out. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try something, but I would say statistically, if I had to put a guess on anything coming through the pipeline before they're ousted in February, probably 10%. I think it's unlikely that we see this. But that being said, that doesn't mean that they can't try to pull stuff from. I mean, we have seen some radical proposals where stuff has been mentioned but didn't get implemented, and then maybe it something still comes from it. So the fact that it's even being discussed at this high of a level should be alarming or concerning for all of us. Again, I'm super hopeful, just like Christian was talking about right there. I'm super hopeful that the new administration will come in, that Dr. Mehmet Oz, bless his heart, will come in and just save us and deregulate, hopefully, a lot of these rules that are being proposed and potentially ones that have already been implemented. That's what I'm hoping for, guys, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very safe for us to assume that we're going to see a level of deregulation, and I think that is positive for all of us. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, right? If we kept another 4 years of our current CMS leadership, would we survive 4 years? Very few of us would. Like we would survive. Glenn and I would survive, but a lot of you wouldn't. By the time we were done with another 4 years of the current CMS leadership, I mean, we'd get a yearly final rule for another 4 years, right? And it would just become harder and harder and harder and harder and more complicated to do business in the Medicare space. And so, I think that we will just have to pay attention and see. But I think there's a very real possibility that either we get a final rule, but it's dramatically different than what this proposal ends up being like. Maybe it's far less extreme. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I mean, that's more or less, kind of what we're looking at with this proposal. There's plenty more in there, right? You're welcome to go through and try to read it yourself.
Maybe our paralegal friend Lisa in the comments can give us her synopsis on this. By the way, Lisa, I saw your comment. You're like, I'll send you my analysis. Post it in the group. Post it in the group. You don't even need to send it to us. Post it in the group. And listen, if you're right, I would love to promote you to everybody. And if you're wrong, everyone can comment on it and tell you why you're wrong. I'm not, again, I don't claim to be a paralegal or an attorney. I didn't read the entire thing line by line. I'm totally open to your thoughts on this. So yeah, post it in the group. I'd love to see what everyone thinks about your analysis. But Tony Merwin says, Dr. Oz at Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit. Absolutely. I think we do need to get Dr. Oz at I'll let him headline the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit if we can get him there. What do you think? Can we get Dr. Oz?
We haven't announced any speakers yet, so you never know. Could already be in the works. No, I think I would love to have Dr. Oz be there. It's open invitation, Doc. If you end up seeing this, open invitation. We'd love to have you at the summit.
Yeah, absolutely. Mehmet's probably watching live. Mehmet, we love you. We're looking forward to you coming into office in February.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hope it was healthy.
Hope your family's doing great. You're welcome to speak at the Seven Figure Summit. Just go ahead and shoot us an email. Okay, bud?
There's some good comments on here, though. James wants me to put that wig on. I will get on it. I will get on it. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. I'm glad it was helpful. What if the government bureaucracy as we know it performs differently moving forward? Yeah, I mean, reasonable to assume, right? Hopefully, maybe. It doesn't have to perform differently necessarily, but like just a difference in philosophy on the rules they're passing. I think that's all we need. We need that, and we just need them to just let us do what we do. Just take a step back. Don't really need too much more from them. Let's see.
There's a comment here from Bella. Is it just one carrier approval or all? Every carrier has their own individual approval process. And so just like we were talking about before, every insurance carrier has their own interpretations essentially of the rules. Now, sometimes it's broad and there might be a specific thing where every single one sees it the same way. But then there's finer points sometimes where they see things differently. I'll give you a quick example just historically. the phone recording rule, when it went into place, there was some confusion around which calls needed to be recorded. And we saw at the time the carriers had different rules in place for which calls needed to be recorded. Some carriers said only the sales calls. Some carriers said the sales and marketing calls. Some carriers said you need to record every single phone call you have with that beneficiary in case we need to hear it. So that's the type of confusion that can happen. And, again, it's kind of a mixed bag, but yes, you do need every carrier you're selling. You would need approval for that marketing piece through that carrier plus CMS. So it's like CMS is like the bonus. It's like carrier approval, carrier approval, carrier approval, carrier approval plus CMS approval.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? Maybe if this actually does see the light of day, they come out with some kind of reasonable process, right? Like where they say, you run it through a carrier. Carrier represents our rules and our standards and everything like that, and
that would be
good.
great.
Maybe. I mean, I would imagine there'd be some kind of adjustment in terms of the
streamline.
actual. Yeah, like some way of getting it approved that was reasonable. Like, and not that I expect anything CMS does is to be reasonable necessarily, but I just feel like, again, right? If we got a final rule that said that, what would happen? Probably more lawsuits, more lobbying. There'll probably be lobbying just based off of this proposal alone. And maybe even if the rule is to see the light of day, it's more of a reasonable, rule from that standpoint, because there's pushing happening behind the scenes to make it that way. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to make this rule, it has to be somewhat possible to follow.
So I have a screenshot. I just remembered I wanted to read while we're on this topic, because I think this is super interesting. This is a random tweet, so take it with a grain of salt, but it wouldn't surprise me. It says, breaking, Dr. Oz invested in businesses regulated by the agency that Trump wants him to lead. One example is that he has a stake in United Health Group worth as much as $600,000, as well as shares in pharmaceutical firms. Oz's investments total tens of millions of dollars. Now, United Health Group, right? That's like the biggest Medicare carrier, right? Especially Medicare Advantage. If he's invested,
I have stock too. I have stock too, Oz. You and me both.
And we can talk about the morale. This isn't about like the morality behind, separate. That's a whole different conversation, right? Whether someone should be allowed to be invested and also help control. That's a whole separate conversation. I'm just talking about logistically. If Dr. Oz is trying to protect his investments or help it grow, that's probably a great news for all of us, right? I wanted to share that. I thought this was a great time to share that. Mehmet, let's grow your investments together, brother. We want to help United Healthcare get more clients, okay? So I thought that was interesting. And we'll see if anything more comes from that.
I'm trying to find the comment now. I'm not having an easy time finding it, but someone mentioned banning offshore call centers. Please don't. That affects us. That affects us a little bit. I'll speak on that, right? Because I think there's a lot of offshore call centers, and this is obviously, you are the the Dondada on this, good sir. But there's plenty of offshore call centers that are extremely sketchy. Do a lot of bad, unethical things. But I think there's others that operate incredibly well. They're ran well. That aren't a plague, right?
I mean, there's offshore call centers that are writing policies, you guys. Breaking all the rules, right? So the bad actors need to go, bad. But if we took that same lens to the insurance industry, you could say, let's get rid of all the agents because there's bad insurance agents, right?
Right. Great point.
It's not a fair, you can't blanket statement, one piece of it. The bad apples don't ruin the whole bunch, right?
Yeah. Take the bad apples out, you throw them out, and you have delicious apples. Still.
That's right. Lead heroes.
Yeah,
one big delicious apple.
Big delicious apple.
Or crushing this today, guys. Black Friday.
Yes. Let's see. Any other comments that we want to? I'm scrolling through right now. Yeah, I think this is definitely something that's worthy to pay attention to, but we'll actually see what we end up getting. Why can't run your call center here in the United States? Because it costs, I don't know, $100 million. I don't know.
Yeah, the economics, David, are night and day. And
Cost a
again,
lot more.
those cost savings, we're not talking about our own bottom line. Those cost savings are passed down to the agent and what we're able to charge. If we did run everything here stateside, which I have, even at one point, you could say I even attempted to hire callers here stateside, for sure, I did. The economics you're talking about tripling to quadrupling the cost, and 9 out of 10 agents can't afford that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really the problem, David. It's the economics behind it. I'm 100% America, supporting stateside businesses. I'd love to do as much as I can here, but also it's about capitalism and what's ultimately going to win in the marketplace for all of us, right?
Absolutely. And it's worked out for Lead Heroes over 10 years, right? It's worked out extremely well in terms of providing a fantastic quality product and keeping the price, where it's affordable. I think it's worked out. It's not broken. Why fix it?
Amen.
So last thing I want to mention, guys, about this is, I think it's what I would be doing right now is, I would be contacting NABIP. I'd be contacting HAFA, because one thing that I think will be helpful is I think those types of groups getting into, and having conversations with the new CMS leadership when they come in, and getting to them early. I saw Renell, I think it was Renell with HAFA talk about this. And, I think if I remember right, she said something on the lines of, once the new leadership's in, I'm going to be having a very quick and early conversation with them. And I think that's very important, because when they come in, they don't know anything about us. Even as long as I've been doing this, CMS has a very vague and limited understanding of our industry, of agents, of the value we serve, of FMOs and why they matter. Like
100%.
And so it's a good thing if, some of these groups that have the ability to kind of get in and have those conversations early and often are able to do so. So I think supporting those groups is helpful. I'm super on the HAFA train and everything Renell's doing. I think she's doing awesome. And yeah, I think and of course, it's just something we got to pay attention to. If we do get a comment section that opens up, if we do get, a petition, by all means, sign the petition, submit your comments. But I'm just saying, don't expect those to make or break what's going to happen, because I don't think they will. But I'd rather try it out, and instead of not trying it out, if for any shred, there's one CMS employee that opens it up and looks at it, it's like, oh, look at all these comments. Oh, maybe we should pay attention to this. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they give a shit. But but I'd love to be wrong. And I think by signing those petitions, you're at least putting the possibility out there that it could make some kind of difference, but don't hold your breath.
I love that. And we got a question here that I think is perfect. It kind of ties back into, I think, some of our final thoughts that we wanted to share with you guys from Bella. Is the how to hire and work with call centers offshore in 7-figure university? Yes, it is. We have put several trainings. I've been involved in several trainings. How you can hire your own caller, how you can work call verified leads, how you can get preset appointments, live transfers, all those things, right? I mean, there's a variety of things. The virtual assistants, Hire Heroes, right? That's another service that we offer, where someone can come in and handle these low revenue or no revenue generating tasks that you guys are wasting your time with. data entry, all sorts of stuff. And that is part of Seven Figure University. Christian and I would love to be everyone's upline. We would love to get all of your contracts, but we also understand that that's not going to happen. So this is, well, maybe. No. So this is our way of really being able to help everybody, is the Seven Figure University, the education piece of it. Obviously, we love going live like this and being able to give you guys updates when we get information that we believe needs to be shared, needs to be discussed. But we can't do all of it in this format. There's a lot of educating that has to happen kind of at a bigger scale, or more time going into specific topics. And that's what Seven Figure University is all about. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to sevenfigureu.com. The link's in the comments. It is 80% off right now. That is $4,000 you are saving off of its normal lifetime price. It's normally $5,000. It is $997 if you sign up before the end of day Monday. This is how you can really help safeguard yourself in the situation. Let's say this crazy proposal were to come to life. Let's say the lawsuit last year gets denied and the previous proposal, the previous final rule goes into effect. Having something like Seven Figure University, where you can learn all of these different ways of marketing yourself, all these different ways of gaining new clients, seminars, doing your own Facebook ads, all sorts of stuff, guys. It's all in there. And having that for essentially the cost of 2 new sales, right? Lifetime access. You generate 2 new sales. That covers the cost, $997. You're off to the races for forever. You're going to get access to everything that's in there forever. You're going to get access to all the new content we've added. Seven Figure University has seen almost 100 videos get added to it this year. It's almost doubled in size just this year, and it's going to continue to grow as we keep doing this. So check it out, Seven Figure U. Check the link in the comments. Only until end of day Monday.
I'm going to see if I can drop the link on StreamYard and it goes everywhere but Facebook. Let me see.
See if you can.
Because I can do it individually, but man, is that a pain.
Cynthia, we appreciate you being in Seven Figure University and sharing that it's an amazing resource for you. We've got a lot of agents like Cynthia out there, you guys, who have shared their feedback. Appreciate that. Sandra, you're absolutely right. Having folks offshore help with the marketing, help generate leads, generate appointments, that is ultimately driving more revenue into the American economy. A lot of people might look at it like, this money's going offshore, this is going out of America, but ultimately it's providing even more income, more money for agents here stateside. So I look at it the same exact way. I call it a win-win-win. It's a win for Lead Heroes, the business. It's a win for our employees because they get to provide for their families. And it's a win for insurance agents because they get income opportunities, right? With leads, with preset appointments, with virtual assistant services. So it's what I call our triple win at Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes. Win, win, win. So yes, I love that, Sandra. You're awesome.
Jason asked, is there a way to get a notification when a new video is added? That's actually something that we're planning on integrating next year. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start sending an email blast to all university members anytime we add a new video. Yeah. So that will be new product protocol for 2025, just so you guys are aware. Great question on that, Jason.
Renee has a great comment too. Renee, shout out to our Hire Heroes client. Thank you, Renee, for being with us. I love Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes. I cannot find labor at what I'm getting for my VA here. Most people want $25 an hour and don't have to work. My VA does. Literally verbatim what I would say. You hire someone for $20, $25 an hour here. They come in, they're asleep at their desk. You hire someone for half that cost. You can even have us hire that person for you, manage them for you. You're saving 50%. They're doing twice the work someone here stateside would potentially do, right? So yes, Renee, I appreciate you. Great comment. Thank you.
Renee is awesome. We love you, Renee.
We love you, Renee. Any final thoughts, Mr. Brindle?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing I can tell you guys is, just to reiterate, pay attention to what's going on. We'll do everything we can to make sure that we bring you updates as new information comes on this developing situation. If there is a petition, if there is CMS comments, which I'm expecting there will be, leave the comments, but don't expect them. I've said this like 4 times, but I want this to get jammed into your heads there. Don't expect it to do anything. It's almost like a Hail Mary, right?
Yep.
But doesn't mean you don't take the Hail Mary when the game's on the line.
That's right.
You don't just lose,
No.
You might have
keep playing.
Keep playing. Yeah.
Yes.
But don't hold out hope being like, well, once they go through the comments, then they'll really, you're like, it's almost like you're expecting it to happen. It's not, it's probably not going to happen. Just like,
right.
If you throw a 90-yard Hail Mary to win the game, probably a 5% chance it's going to work, but there's
90
still
yards.
a chance.
What an arm that quarterback has. 90 yards.
Well, throw it
the whole field
40, 50 yards, and then there's some running involved. And
that's fair. Okay, that's fair.
Glenn, any final thoughts?
That's really my final thoughts, you guys. I feel like I already went through it with talking about how the 7-figure university can really help safeguard you and your business going into 2025. I think, stay tuned. I'm sure there's going to be just more changes, whether they're good changes or bad changes. The industry is doing anything but not changing. So stay tuned. We will bring you updates as soon as we have them.
Yep. Guys, hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. If you watch this all the way to the end on replay, please give us a hashtag Team Replay. And make sure to get into 7-figure Medicare University, 7-figure University as a whole, before the Black Friday sale ends at the end of the day, Monday. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Have a great end of AAP, you guys.
Final week. See you guys.
Woo-hoo!
See you guys posting next week about the final week. It's going to be so much fun. Race to the end.